Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. So in this video, we are going to discuss like what are the various ways how we can accomplish a CRUD application. Like trending CRUD strategy, like what are the various ways by which we can accomplish the CRUD operation, right? So there are, if we say basic, so we can go with the three. So now we will first discuss like what are those and then we will implement. So consider like first scenario, if we have a big forms, let's say around 20 to 30 fields are there in your form. Let's say customer component is there. In customer form, you have around 20 to 30 forms filled, starting with name, address, something. So many fields are there. So if you have 20 to 30 fields or more than 10 also. So what you normally should create, you should create a two components. One component to show the list. Here we will have table and to show all the records. Correct? Second component we will create to display to create an update, means here we will have the form. Now this component only we will use to add and edit also, because in Angular or React also we don't create another form for edit and we don't create another form for the create. So only one component we can use for both the scenarios, for adding new record also and for updating also. Correct? So again, if we have to, because in some industrial project or enterprise project we have another, you might have seen, if you are already working, you might have seen another component is also there, that is view customer kind of. So this component responsibility is just to view, not in the editable form. View form with read only. Everything will be read only. Either we will have a text box or we will simply show the data in the label form. So this is the first way, that is creating separate component for everything. For customer list, just an example, I'm taking that customer list. You can create a table, you can create a customer list, and in that you will show the tables. Then create customer or create update customer component will be there. In this component we will just have the form, and this component we will use for creating new customer also, or update the existing customer also. Another component we can have, that is view customer. So if you have seen somewhere like in the table, we get edit, view, and the delete button. So on click of edit, we will open this component. But on click of view, we will open this component. So as these are the separate component, whenever you redirect, you need to pass the query parameter along with the ID. Let's say create update is your route name. So question mark ID is equal to whatever the ID you click. Like that, you need to navigate. Same like with view customer also. Question mark ID is equal to something. So in the table, you have edit delete button, right? So if you click on the edit, you will navigate to this route with the parameter ID, whatever record you click. So this is the first way. Then second way is using modal popup. Let's say you have a small form, let's say product, and in that product form, you just have at least 10 fields. So if you have 10 fields, that 10 fields can accommodate easily in a modal popup. So that's why I written like small forms only. If you don't have that much field, less than 10 fields are there in your form, so you can go for the modal popup. So you just need to create one component. In that component, you will show the list in the table, and there will be a button on add, and on click of add, you will open the modal popup along with the form. So in the same component, you will create your model at the end, and inside the model body, you will create your form. So this is the second approach. On click of edit also, you will open the same modal popup, but it will show the data. Again, same form you can use to show the view also. Just you need to disable the text box. What are the input elements you have? You are just going to disable them in case of view. Third is using side panel. So most of you might not know like what is side panel, but if you have seen my project video, so you might have seen like we will create we will create UI. We will again in this way also we will need only one component. Let's say I divide the section. Let's say I created a row. Okay. Now inside this row, I will create two divs. Let's say first div with class equal to, let's say, call 8. Inside this call 8, I will have my table. Getting it? So I have created a row in this particular component. Inside that, I will create call it. Inside that, first call it, I will have table. Then what I got remaining is call for. Is equal to, let's say, call for remaining width. And in this call for, I will have my form. So this is the structure what your side panel is. So this is nothing but your side panel. So these are the, again, there are so many scenarios where you can create, but these are the most trending CRUD strategies, various ways we have currently. So let's try to implement same. I won't go into detail, but I will just try to cover whatever we have discussed. So this is the project I have created. I've been following with so many videos. So in that, I have created a folder called strategies. So let's say first folder I will create for the customer, first scenario. The first scenario by using separate component for bigger form. So customer, then let's create another folder as product. This we will use it for model popup, and another folder we will say, let's say employee for side panel, or instead of, yeah, let it be. So now first thing we are going to say is like creating separate component. So in customer, we have to create one component that will be customer list. So let's create it, ng generate customer list, enter. So first component we have created as per we have discussed. First component to show the customer list, another component to create new customer and update also, and one more component that is for view. So customer list component is created. Then new update customer, or instead of new, let's make it add. That will make more sense. Whenever you are giving component a name, make it descriptive. Whenever you are creating variable also or function also, always think like that name should describe what the purpose of it. That's the reason whenever we uh, create a variable, that name we think and properly give it. Because if someone else is reading our code, he should understand what is the purpose of that variable by just saying the name. So add update, then we have view. So we have created three components in customer folder: customer list, add update customer, and the view. Now, so in customer list, after creating, just let's create the route first. So in app routing module.ts, I will create the route here. So now so many routes are already there. So let's say first route will be customer list, and the component will be customer. Will take some time for it to suggest. Yeah. So first route is customer list. Now second route. Now second route will be for add update customer, right? So the name I will give is add update. But now this component, add update component, is going to be responsible for add also and update also. But in case of update, we need to pass the ID, because from customer list, we will have the table. And if we click on the edit button, we have to navigate to this add update component with the route, whatever the route parameter we have. So for that, we have to make it, what do we say, with route with the parameter. Let's say ID. Let me just check. How do we, sometimes I forget. Yeah, correct. So slash and colon and ID. Now, this is my second component. Just like that, I will have my third component also. Third component is for view. So view customer. Here also we will need ID, like which customer detail we have to show. So obviously on click of view, we will pass the ID also. This will be view customer. Add update customer. Let's change the name. So here you can see after creating three components, we have created respective route. Customer list won't have any parameter, because in this component, our whole responsibility is to show the whatever the customers we have in the table or the card format, whatever you choose. Add update customer, this component will have the parameter, and view also. Now let's just add some data. Let me just get the data from somewhere. JSON user inline editing. Yeah, let's use this. I don't have any simple table. Users. I don't have any simple table anywhere. Okay, let's create one. Now I'm not going to make the API call, but let's create a customer array. Customer list, colon any, square bracket, enter. Let's create object. Let's say ID, one, name, Sachin, mobile. Let's email. I should have created this earlier, but anyway, let me just create quickly. So this is first object. Let's just change the ID. So currently, just to explain this, I'm not making the API call, but in case in real application, you will have the API call over here. Ankit, Ram, and Shyam. Now, so I have created a customer list. Now this customer list I have to display over here in the table. So let's create row dot call 12. Inside that I will create the table. Let's add some classes. Table hyphen bordered. T head I will have. Inside that TR will be there. TH serial number. Now, whenever you are actually working for the industrial project, now we don't show ID anywhere. In case of customer ID, product ID, we don't show ID because that is for our purpose only. We don't disclose that anywhere. Name, what things we have did, mobile number and email. Name, mobile and email. Just three fields we will have. And one more TH we will have, that it will be for action. So T head is done. Then we will have T body. Inside that TR will be there. Now we will use the for loop on this. ng for let cust of my variable name where I have the customer list. Correct. Now here we have to display the names. So TD. So now here you can see serial number we have taken. So we can get the serial number from here only. SR is equal to index. And this SR you can use it over here in the interpolation. But by default SR will start from 0. So I'm just incrementing it. After that TD, curly bracket, cust dot. What are the things we have? Name, mobile, and email that we will display. I will just copy paste this. Name, mobile, email. So you can see we have created this, but again, we have one column for action. So we will create one TD and inside this, we will have three buttons. Let's add some class, btn, hyphen primary. This will be, let's say, view button. Let's copy. Then let's say success. This will be edit. And the last one will be danger or delete. Let's just save. Let's try to reload the customer list component. Okay, I have not run the application. Let's run it. Let's open the new terminal. NGS. So customer list component has only one task. Just get the data from the API and show it inside the table along with the buttons to open this record, edit this record and the delete also. On delete, we don't have to navigate to anywhere. We can just show the pop-up like, are you sure you want to delete? And on click of OK, we will make the API call to delete the record. Let it run. And in add customer, we will have some form. I'm not going to create the form, but just consider like let's copy some form from Bootstrap. Forms. Form validation. Let's get this simple form. Here we will have form. We don't need this action. So application is running on localhost 4200. Let's open that. Localhost 4200. So our route name, I have not added that in the navbar. So let's just copy /route name. So now here you can see in customer list, what we have did is we have simply shown the table. Now, if I click on the view button, I have to navigate from this customer list component to my another component, that is view component, but along with the ID also. So now for that, either we can write it from here only, sorry, not user in the customer list. So there are two ways to navigate with the parameter. So either we can write router link over here / where we have to navigate. We have to navigate to this component view customer. Now, if you see the route, we have to pass the ID also. So view customer /ID we need to pass. Now ID is we have got in this object. So here, let's try like this. Okay, so we need to wrap it in the square bracket, which is as a property binding. Now here, cust dot ID. So this ID we need to pass it over here. Let's see if this works or not. Not sure, but we will try. Let's open the console. Whenever you are navigating and writing the code, now make sure console is open. If you face any error, if it doesn't found the route, you will get the error. Let's try to click on the Rahul. You can see it has successfully navigated, but ID is not there. Something customer ID like that, whatever we have written, that we have got. So this interpolation doesn't work. So to handle this, how we can do that? So this is not recognizing this. Now let's try to do like this. It is not working. Let's try this because we have already done this in property binding. So we don't need the interpolation. Let's see. Let's go back. So currently what we are trying from HTML only, we are trying to navigate. So if I click on view, now you can see we are successfully navigated. So what you need to write as a router link with the property binding, your route name / and your parameter. Correct. Now in view customer, you need to read the parameter also, whatever you got. So in the URL, you have the ID. So this ID you will read and then you will make the API call, and whatever the data you get, that you will display in the readable format over here. So how do we read that? In the view customer, let's create the constructor. To read the parameter, we need to make use of activated route. So private activated route, activated route. So now here this dot activated route dot params dot subscribe. You can subscribe to the parameters what we have, result :any, or we don't need to provide the data type also. And here we will add the debugger. Let's create a variable view customer ID. Let's make it number. And to this value, we will get the value from query parameter is equal to res dot in ID we will get. So in query parameter, you will get the data in object because query parameter can be multiple, right? So that's why we get the object. And this customer ID, we will just print it. So this is how we read. Let's save and check. So here you can see 2 we have got. Let's try to debug that also. Control P. Let's say you have to debug any file in the directly browser. So you just have to Control P, view component we have to add. So you can see it is suggesting. Just click on it. Okay, we had the debugger. Let's enable it. Let's now reload. Let's continue. So now here you can see in the result, we have got the object and we just add our parameter ID. So that's why res.id. And that we have stored to the variable that is got printed over here. Let's go back. Now let's try to the RAM. So now we have 4. So here you can see 4 we have got. Same like that. We can navigate. So now we have seen like from HTML how we do that. How we navigate to the routed parameter from HTML. Let's say on click of edit, I need to navigate from the function. So let's create click event, navigate to edit, and we need to pass the ID as a parameter to this function. So customer.id will pass it over here. Let's create this function. So now we are trying to navigate from your component.ts. So again, to navigate from component.ts, we have to create object of router. So private router. Sorry, router we need to use. And now here, so this dot router dot navigate by URL. Now when we are calling this function, we are passing the ID. So let's catch that number, navigate by URL. And here we need to pass first route. Our route name is nothing but this. Sorry. Add edit, add update customer. This is our route name, correct? So this will be our route name. And then after that slash, you need to bind your ID. That is this ID, you need to bind it over here. Let's check if we are able to navigate on click of edit also. So let's say if we click on edit on the third record, see now we are getting error. Let's check what went wrong. We don't have any error. I think it is compiling. We call this function in HTML also. Let's try once again. Now if we click on ID, why nothing is happening? Let's try to debug customer list. Let's try click on edit. Something is wrong. Debugger is also not getting added. Let's check what is wrong. Click, then function name, correct only. Customer list, function name is also same. Let's add debugger manually. Let's see if it get executed. On click of edit. Yeah. So now you can see we are able to navigate. So here also we got the ID. If we click on back, let's click on the last record. So you can see ID is continuously changing. Whatever the record you click, that ID will get passed to the parameter. Now in case of edit, what you had to do, you got the ID. First, you need to get the data with this ID, you display it, and on then you will have the update button, and then you update the record. So this is the first scenario what we have discussed, creating separate component for big form. So this scenario is useful when you have very big forms, more than 10 field, because to show the model pop-up 10 more than 10 fields in model pop-up, you will get the scroll bar, and that doesn't make sense. So you need a complete screen. So that's why create a separate component. So this is the first way we have discussed. Now coming back to second way, using model pop-up. Let's close everything. So let's close it. Let's say product component we will use, product folder we will use for our second scenario. Let's create a component ng generate component products. Now in case of model pop-up, you just need one component. In that component only, you will show the list also and form also, but form will be in the model popup. So let me I'm just copy pasting the data of customer only. Again, I'm not creating array. So this, I will pass it over here. Data also, I'm using the same. Now we don't navigate. So what is, okay, let's create the route also. We didn't create the route. So route will be products only. So only one component is there. So obviously one route will be there. That will be again with no URL and everything, means without parameter. Let's try that. Products. Sorry. Let's copy / let's paste it. So now in the product component also on the page load, we are able to see. Now, if you have to create the new record, what you do, let's go to Bootstrap and let's get the model code. Model. Let's copy this. Now in product component. After the table, you can put your model popup. This is just a code. And here we will have the form. Let's copy the form from add customer. So this form will now go to model popup inside the model body. Now if we save, we don't get to see the model popup because model popup is just a div which is by default hidden. Once we click on the add, we need to open that div. So for that, at the top, let's say before this row, again I will create a row dot call 12 with add a text and here we will have a button. Add new. Let's save. Now, so we are in the product component. If I click on add new, I have to show that model popup. So to show the model popup, there are multiple ways. If in your angular.json, you added the JavaScript file also, bootstrap.js, like this. So directly you can use this uh, data target and everything to open the model popup. Let's say I'm just copying this and I will add it over here. Now my model ID is nothing but this, my model. Let's save. Now you can see on the click of that button, your model popup will get open. See, got it? This is one way to open the model popup in Java in Angular. Another way, now on click of add, we have opened this model popup, correct? But let's say on click of view and edit also we need to open. But when we click on edit and view, we need to open that particular data. So for that, let's create the function. Let's say click event, open product, and we need to pass the whatever the ID. So currently we are just using the customer ID record. So customer ID. Let's create this function. Now another way I'm explaining how do we open the model popup. First, like on click of add button, we don't have to pass any parameter on anything, right? So that's why you can directly use this. But now on click of edit, we need to pass the ID also. Now from .ts, we have to open the model popup. So now let's get the ID colon number. And here, now we are going to open the model popup by using document.getElement by ID. So first I'm creating const model. First I have to select that particular model, get element by ID, round bracket, double quotes, my model ID. That is nothing but this, my model. I will pass it over here. So now we have to again add a null check, like if model is there or not. So model not equal to null. If it is not equal to null, then I have to just dynamically add the CSS model dot style dot display is equal to block CSS. I have to add. Just like this open product, we are going to need to close that model popup also. So let's create a function close model. And here what we are going to do, just same thing. Just instead of block, it will be none. And whatever the ID, again, in this button click, once before you open the model, you can make the API call. You get the ID, you get the complete record of that ID, and you can store that in any variable, and that variable you will obviously bind to the form. So once you open, that API call will be there. The response you will get, that you will store it somewhere, and that variable you will bind to the form. So now let me just, for now, I'm just creating a variable. We will store the data, open cust ID colon number. Let's initialize to 0. And to this variable, we will store the data from this variable, because here we are getting the parameter. So ID we will get, and this cust ID, I will print just in the model heading. Just to showcase, like on click of it, we are opening the proper thing. Now, here you can see we have created one function to close it. So either we can close the model popup using this also, or if on click of close, we need to write some code. So then you can create a function like this. Let's save and check. So on click of add, you can see customer ID is 0. But now if I click on view, you can see customer ID is there. On click of close, see customer ID is getting changed like this. So again, for view also and edit also, you can respectively write the code, and that's how you do the crawl operation in case of model pop. Now let's get back to the third way, that is side panel. So we have discussed this. Now third way is using side panel. Now let's use the employee folder. Let's create a component over here. Again, in the side panel also, we will just need a one component only. ng generate component employee. If we have extra space here, let's check if it create or not. Yeah, it created. Now, so again, same thing. I will just copy paste whatever the thing we have did. Customer list. I will use the same over here. Okay. Now, before that, we have discussed like how my UI will be there. This type of syntax, this type of structure I have to create. So first I will create the row. Inside that I will create call, let's say 8 to show the list. Then after call 8, I will have call 4. Now in call 8, I will have the table. So let's copy the table code and we will put it inside this call 8. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. Let's get the data also. Customer list. We have to create the route also for the employee. Let's create that. Just like product, only one component is there, so only one route will be there. Again, with no parameter. Employee component. Let's save and let's try to access that. Why employee component is opening this? I think we have got two routes with the same path. Let's try to find. Yeah, we have got two. Let's change it employee 2. Let's add 2 now. Now our component will open. So component name is also same. Let's just comment the first, because I think I have already, yes. Here you can see I have already a component with employee name. How can we do it now? Let's delete it, or let's try to change it. Let's change the name only employee 2. Just the class name I'm changing. Now in the app model also I have to change employee 2. Now here also employee 2. I had the same component with employee component was already there. Just the 2 were there. So that's why I have just changed the class name. Some error is there. Yeah. Now, so in employee 2, we have shown the list. So you can see we have created the structure that in call it, we will show the list. Now you can see the left call for space is left. Now just to divide that, just to make UI more resemble, I will add a card inside this. Let's say card, let's say card header. Let's add a background color. Let's say BG success. And after that, we will have card hyphen body. Now this table will go inside my card body, and inside card header, I will create again row column, because here I will show the name and the button. Let me just create, let's say customer list, or we are dealing with employees. So let's say employee list, and here we will have a button. Let's see without the button first. Now in collate, I have created a card, and in remaining also again, I will create a card. Now UI will make more sense, and we will need card body also. And in card body, we will actually have our form. Let's copy the form from here. Let's paste it in this div. And here we will add the length, new customer. Let's save it. Now here you can see we have got the list inside this panel. This is nothing but the side panel which I was talking. Now in click of view, you can just pass the data. You can just make the API call, get the data from on for this particular ID, and you can display that over here. So this is what side panel. Now for this UI, again, you can make it interactive. Let's say you don't need to see this form at all. Once we can add a button over here, on click of add only, this form should be visible. And if I click close over here, again, employee list will take the full screen. So let's implement that. Now I will need a one variable. Let's say that variable name will be is side panel open. Data type boolean, by default, let's say false. Now this variable I will use for this div to be dynamic. So star ng if I have to pass this div. Now they called this call it the first div. Now this should be dynamic. If my side panel is open, means if my side panel is open for this row, we for that call it class will be added. But if side panel is hide, then that call it should be dynamic. Call 12 should be so that my table will take the complete screen. So let's do that. Now this won't be static. Now it will be dynamic. So star ng class we will use. Now condition will be if this variable is if this variable has true value, then this class, otherwise this class. So if this side panel is true, then we will add call 8 over here. But if this variable has the value false, so call 12. Now remember I had created here. So let's create a button over here. Let's add class btn primary open or create new. Just like that, I'm just copy pasting this because same kind of button I need to have in another card also, here also. Instead of employee list, it will be new customer, new employee, sorry. And this will be close button. Let's just see the structure. Now this will be at the end. So text end class, I will add it over here. Same like that. Let's go at the top here also. Let's save. So by default, if you see, we have assigned the variable value false. So let's just open and check. So now you can see it has taken the complete weight and we have the button. Now if I click on create new, okay, we haven't written the function. Now on click of create view, what we have to do, we just need to change that variable value to true. So click, I'm not going to create the function, just here only I'm changing the value. So we just need to make it true. Just like that, in the side panel also, we have the button to close it. So on click of close, what we are going to do, we are just going to make this variable again false. So now you can see the magic. So on the page load, we got the complete screen. Now, if I click on create new, you can see side panel is open. Now, if I click on close, you can see. Now, same thing on click of view and edit, you just need to make that variable true so that side panel will be visible. So these are the various three ways by which we can complete the CRUD operation. So now whenever you are appearing for the interview, make sure you don't normally go for the model normal this way. Normally everyone will try this way. Try to use model pop-up or the side panel also. So this looks more promising. Interviewer will judge you on this, like you know some various ways or you have actually worked on the project, correct? So that's it with the current video. You will find the same code in my repository in the AG grid and everything. You might have already seen this. All the examples are there. So just go to my repository and you will find it. If you are new to the channel, please do like, subscribe. That's it with the current video.